Good morning, one and all. Here we are, Coffee and Chat with Rev Bruce, doing something a little different today, doing a breakdown of the setup and the structure for Coffee and Chat as a tribute to a dear beloved friend of mine, Viet Mai, my first guest on Coffee and Chat. And with his passing recently, just thought it was an adequate thing to do, to look at how he got into it and shared with me how to launch this thing and get it started. And we'll share some pieces via mixed media, some video, some audio, a couple of pics. But just so you know, this was something that Viet and I launched in June of 2020, just over 5 years ago. And it was something that we had discussed and met about since late April 2020, of just putting the pieces together and getting comfortable with, is it ready? And so I thank God for him helping me to put some legs on it and give it wings and get it started. And one of the things that I can say from the get-go that we shared in it was this discussion on how to. And I remember and was reminded as I listened to a recording of Viet and I trying to get this thing together. We were talking about the time and what time worked for launching it. And I sounded so unsure of like when to do it. I was trying to be so accommodating, and he said, well, when do you want the people to hear it? And I said, I want them to be on like around 10 o'clock, in the morning, whatever. And he was like, 10 o'clock Saturday, I can do it. Let's make it happen. And I thought that was cool. That was impressive. That was accommodating me as the host and helping me become more consistent with what I was doing. And so praise God for Viet putting it together and allowing me to put these pieces together. And so I thank God for his friendship and his partnership, and most of all, kicking those ideas off each other and running those ideas off each other. And I want to share this with you guys just so you know the genesis of it. This was part of what we used for the promo, but part of the recording session that Viet and I had before we even launched. Check this out. Okay, I really want to, talk to my man because I see you involved in a lot of different things, and that's inspiring to me, being older than you. And like you said, you're trying to pass on some knowledge to a generation that's behind you, right? You're in a different position now. And so in order to pass on that knowledge to that generation behind you, you got to have some confidence in passing that baton back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to be where some people that may not be in our immediate sphere of reach may just simply catch on to it by searching on YouTube the keyword inspiration.
I'm always trying to like analyze how I feel in different situations and settings. And there's a lot that I know. I mean, to be consciously analyzing this is something that most people don't do. They don't look at themselves, right? Like so, for me, it's been a great journey.
That was just part of our discussion, part of our launch, part of our getting there. And we put those pieces together for a promo and going into it. And the video is easy to get into. It's the first episode of Coffee and Chat. Like I said, you can get the video on YouTube and peep it out. No problem. It's probably still on my Twitch way back in there somewhere. It's archived. And that was part of what Viet and I discussed. How did I want to treat my guests? How did I want to treat the audience? How did I want to get people involved and touched by it? And so part of it was simply breaking down with my friend, hey, here's the theme, here's the topic. I'm not sure about what to call this thing. And, we were just going through it. And at the time, we both were drinking coffee. And, it was, hey, coffee and chat, with Rev Bruce. And there's adding different pieces to it. And so that's the genesis of it. That's how organic it came about. But it wasn't just overnight. It was just something we discussed, something we talked about. And the live, the looks and the views live weren't to be this thing that were like, oh man, look how much you got people viewing and everything. What was going on with us going live was because we were using StreamYard and recording it via StreamYard, and now boom, here it is. We could take that and insert it into the playlist. And so we could also draw the audio recording, and drop that into the podcast. And so the two main functions were going to be the playlist and the podcast. And so live was just an added piece. Oh, okay, that's cool. But the playlist, people being able to come back and see it and read the description, get some more information. And the podcast, people being able to hear it on the go and do it. Remember, this is early pandemic, man. This is 2000. 2020. This was still trying to figure it out, mobily. And so in that, one of the things we talked about were getting beyond ego, and the thrill of being able to do the work as a producer and host myself, but also having the ability, well, once we grow to a certain point, you've got to let that go as a leader and build beyond yourself. And that's a growth point you want to get to where you have the ability to hand off production, and people don't take ownership of your ideas, they take ownership of the task, right? And I think that's part of what we lose when we're in the idea business and the inspiration business, and in these businesses where a lot of the idea generation is the currency of the day. And so you're not getting people to take over your idea. You're getting people to take over the tasks that allow your ideas to become a reality for folks. And so Viet helped me a lot with that. And listen to this that we were able to do, and do this. Man, this was crazy, man. This is crazy. I want y'all to check this out. Listen to this. This is Viet Mai about him coming on. This is from about 2 weeks before we even launched. Yeah, come on, man. That's what it is. You know, you try to remove your ego out of the picture and get to the place where you can get some things done and captivate some folks with what you're talking about. And I think one of the best ways to look at this was we were talking about growing via consistency of having something people can lean into, hashtags, taglines, things like that people can lean into and trust and believe. But another part of it was not being ego driven, not being self-centered, but really being open and not being locked into one thing, which helped me, especially when it came to doing faith and finances. You know, oh, well, you know, what's the preacher doing talking about that? You know, and so that's part of the natural progression of this as a multimedia asset was we were talking about this and different stuff. And I want to put it out there with another piece from this same session, recording session, that you can hear at this end part, where Viet just kind of breaks it down as far as limiting that ego. So please check this out. Check this out. That was it, man. That was how we were discussing it. That was how we were dealing with it. That was what was coming up. And I say this as a how-to. Listen to another voice, another sounding board, someone that can see and hear things differently than yourself, to where you can actually not only gain some knowledge, but also revisit your ideas from another perspective. And can you be vulnerable with somebody in your ideas? Can you share your ideas and be like, well, I don't want to be judged. And can you just be open? That's the question. Can you be open with your ideas and open-minded to the feedback that you get on your ideas? I thought that was one of the best things that Viet and I provided each other, that dialogue that led to further development, further thought, further pursuit of attainment, as far as here's what I'm going after. Am I doing it with this poem? Am I doing it with this piece? Am I doing it with this article? Am I doing it with this op-ed? Am I doing it by having this class or session that I'm teaching? Am I doing it by going out to the community and sharing this or that? You got to have some critical thinking attached to what you believe is your consciousness. And if you're not critically thinking about how you're approaching this level of consciousness that you believe you have obtained, then at some point you're going to find yourself either realizing that you're disillusioned or realizing that this is truly a lonely road, because a lot of people, as Viet mentioned in the earlier recording, a lot of people aren't doing that level of self-analysis. And so they're going in like a bull in a china shop and causing more harm than they're able to rectify with whatever help that they offer. And so I think that one of the things that we can draw from Viet's manner is, one, accept people for being more than the one thing that you may know them by, that they're more dynamic and diverse than just that one thing that you may know them for, or that one thing you may know about them. And then the other part is, people are evolving. I'm not the same as I was 5 years ago. Even in the skill level of operating, this live stream and podcast, I'm at a different skill level. I'm using different tools. I'm doing different things than what we did. I mean, some of that stuff was so crude that we did in the beginning. It's comical. Literally, it's comical. And then there's some stuff that's like, man, we were doing that then, and boom, fast forward to today. Look what it got us. Yeah, Viet passed away before we could do this other aspect that we were talking about getting together to do. But that didn't stop him and I from sharing ideas. It didn't stop him and I from contemplating other things to conquer and accomplish. And so I thank God for that with him. And I just want to do an outro with the promo video again. And God bless. Remember, keep in mind that consistency will always pay off, especially in the creator economy. Consistency, showing up as your authentic self, showing up ready and real, ready to deal with what's going on out here, and putting it in a context and on a platform where people can take it in and take hold of it and do something with it. God bless. I really want to, talk to my man because I see you involved in a lot of different things, and that's inspiring to me, being older than you. And like you said, you're trying to pass on some knowledge to a generation that's behind you, right?
Yeah.
You're in a different position now, and so in order to pass on that knowledge to that generation behind you, you got to have some confidence in passing that baton back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to be where some people that may not be in our immediate sphere of reach may just simply catch on to it by searching on YouTube the keyword inspiration.
I'm always trying to like analyze how I feel in different situations and settings. And there's a lot that I know. I mean, to be consciously analyzing this is something that most people don't do. They don't look at themselves, right? Like so, for me, it's been a great journey.